Hey Claire, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you, Walt?
Doing well. It's been a couple of months.
I know it has been a while. Now we're in the raining season.
We are in the rainy season, so and the fun, I have a love hate. Well, I don't even hate this. I mean, I hear a lot of people that the rain starts to come and it's like the rain and they get so negative about the rain and I don't know. I don't really think we've been get have we gotten a lot of rain the last few years? I mean, or have I just
We
been like,
haven't.
yeah,
Not, yeah, we haven't. It has not been that wet.
that's what I'm
No.
thinking. And this time of year I love because the trees all change color. And outside my office, I've got two oaks over here and an oak back there and big oak tree there, which I kind of wish that one would split because it the city doesn't take care of it. So it's it's going to split one of these days, but it's just lopsided. But they're gorgeous this time of year and as the leaves and that. And then thank goodness I pay a landscaper then to pick up the leaves because
Right?
that's
It's a lot.
a lot of work. So yeah. So but I love this time of year, Halloween and then all of the
Thanksgiving.
holidays and
Mhm.
good time of year. So yeah, so it's great to have you. Great to be part of this again. And
Thank
today,
you for having me.
of course, today we're going to be talking about getting your first credit card.
Woo woo. I remember when I got mine.
Yeah, tell us about
I was in college and I think I called. I don't think the internet was really on. Um, at that time. I mean, it was still like 2001, but I called Capital One and they gave me a credit card, and my limit was $300. And it was perfect.
it. Yeah, you know, I think I had my first credit card, but I got my first credit card back in the 90s. um, and I wasn't responsible with my first credit card. Imagine that. So I got into the problems that I think a lot of kids get into. Um, now going back to my family and that, and part of the reason why we're doing these classes, my family, we talked a lot about credit. We talked a lot about credit scores, but we didn't talk a lot about budgeting or we didn't talk
Mhm.
a lot about how to manage debt. And that's actually our next class is how to manage debt. But
Yeah.
um, in this one, it was, how do I manage the debt? And so it was actually Christmas and I wasn't really paying attention and it was a Discover card and my limit was like 3 grand and boom, I maxed it out and I didn't even,
Yeah.
I
Easy
wasn't,
to do.
so, and it took me time to get it paid off and that I budgeted to pay it off as, the next year or so. Um, but it's easy to fill in to get into those pitfalls of it's free money and it's absolutely not free money.
Free money.
So it's money that you have access to, but that time really taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about credit um and that and then I was forced then to learn how to manage my debt after that, making the minimum monthly payment for a little bit and then anything that I had that I can contribute back towards that debt to get it paid off. Because I hated getting the bill every month and I mean, I was working at Nordstrom and so I loved the clothes that I was wearing that I had purchased and the clothes that I had purchased for my mom and dad for Christmas and stuff but um but I hated making that monthly payment.
For sure.
But you got to do it. You got to do it, and then you pay it off. So, um, and that really is to me, a lot of the risks and the benefits. The benefit is that you've got that extra money there to be able to take care of things. Um, but I think the other thing is deciphering between really a need and a want as well.
Correct.
And
And that
so,
takes a lot of maturity to
yep,
decide this item, is it a need or is it a want?
yep, exactly,
A lot of
exactly,
self-control.
yep. So, so that really is credit. I mean, in a nutshell, um, at least the things that we'll talk about and that. And the next slide says having a credit card means having to make decisions on spending money that can affect your future. So my example, how do you think that affected my future?
Well, it impacted your credit. So if your credit dropped, then it would have impacted you negatively for not being able to get approved for a certain loan.
Yeah. It also affected my future in my future budgeting.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
now I have
yeah. Mhm.
cash flow that I would normally have because of course, one, I need to make the monthly payment, so that affects my cash flow.
Another bill.
Unless I do want it to affect my credit. And credit score, of course, was obliterated because I'm at maxed out, right? And so that hurt. But going into it, I had an excellent credit score, but I never really paid attention to my credit score at that time anyway. I mean, and so I had an excellent credit score beforehand. My credit score would have gone down because my credit was maxed out on my one credit card. But the other thing again is that on a monthly basis, now I have less cash flow on a monthly basis. So it really is more of a burden to me because I bought these things and it made me feel good, but it definitely was not a need. It was stuff that I wanted at that time.
Yeah.
Just being completely transparent, honest. And, from there, then it affected my monthly cash flow, which affected my monthly cash flow even more because I wanted to get it paid off. I
Yeah.
didn't want to get the monthly bill. I was tired of seeing the monthly bill. And so now instead of maybe having $2,000 a month and that I might have income coming in, now I only have 1,000 because I'm contributing 1,000 towards my bill to get my debt
Yeah.
off. So it really does affect a lot more than, and honestly, it affects my psyche because I'm getting this stupid bill.
Right.
And I'm reminded that I owe somebody some things, whatever, some entity money, which bugged me.
And the interest rates on those are so high. So even though paying the minimum does not help at all.
Yep,
So you have to pay more, and then your interest rates still go up, and yeah, it's a vicious circle.
it definitely is, isn't it? So, next slide, your first credit card. Credit cards can be a powerful tool for managing your finances and building credit. Credit cards are a serious responsibility.
Are
Manage.
you sharing your screen?
Nope, no,
Let's do
no,
that.
not yet. So, yeah. So this one is just right here. So, and you see the slide, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So again, credit cards can be a powerful tool for managing your finances and building credit, but they also create a serious responsibility. Manage them wisely. So, that is so important to do that. Any insights or anything you want to share with that?
It is a lot of responsibility because it's you have this thing in your wallet that has money in it, pretty much. And the money does not belong to you. You have Capital One or you have Chase that says, here is uh, $1,000 that you can use, and but then you're like, oh yeah, I can pay later, but it keeps growing and growing. So the consequences are just huge. So it takes a lot to have the strength to say no.
Yep.
And it's
That's
part
so,
of the wants and needs.
yep, exactly. So as we go into the benefits of having a credit card, and then use them wisely, do you want to read the first one there for us?
Build your credit history. Every on-time payment helps strengthen your credit score, which affects your ability to rent, buy a car, or qualify for a mortgage. Very true.
You know, and then of course fraud protection. That's a benefit of having a credit card.
That's happened to me a few times where, something happens, a charge pops up. So, for example, going out of town and going across the country, I make a purchase. My bank called me and they were like, "Hey, are you there?" And at the time, yes, actually, I was. So
Yeah,
that was good. It's nice that you have another set of eyes looking at your account.
I had one happen to me on a credit card, and I purchased gas in South Salem, and somebody got my credit card number, and immediately they purchased gas in the Midwest. And so, I mean, and it was that fast.
Yeah.
It, I mean, literally 30 minutes later, after I purchased gas, I get a phone call saying, "Are you in Oregon? Or are you in Wisconsin?" I forget where it was, but it was in the Midwest. And I'm like, "No, I'm in Oregon." I said, "Okay, well, you know, we're gonna give you a new card. Your card's now inactive. Sorry."
Yeah.
It's but yeah, but somebody purchased gas and stuff with my credit card there.
It's so frustrating.
Yeah, and there's other protections as well, where purchasing protections and insurances and things like that that credit cards offer as well. So just not just fraud protection, but other protections in that. And then of course rewards and perks. Many cards offer cashback points and travel rewards that can help save money on purchases you're already making. Um,
Yeah.
and I would say on your first card, and this is just my opinion, I would not be looking at a credit card for points, travel rewards, any of those things,
I agree.
because I think you can get, at that point it becomes um too much of a risk to start to charge on the card because I'm getting these points. Um, so now you're putting yourself in debt to make these points, where honestly it's just cheaper to buy that travel gift that you want anyway. So
Yeah,
uh,
so if your limit is like $1,000 or $2,000, you're not there yet where you can fully benefit from the perks. So, if your credit is so low that your limit is low, you're not going to be able to get that. Don't think about that first free
yeah,
airline ticket yet. You're not there yet.
yeah, exactly. As we roll on, there's really 5 things to consider when applying for credit. Do you want to run through those for us?
Yes, what the things that you want to look at are annual fees. Some credit cards have them, some don't. So you want to read the fine print. Their APR or their interest rates. A lot of them are between 21 and 27%. So you want to take a look at that, and that's very impactful. Penalties and rates. If you are late on your payment, is the fee a percentage of the full balance of the card, or is it a flat fee? It could be $75, it could be $150. Every card is different. And then you also have a grace period after the credit card is considered late. Some companies don't even have that. And then the billing cycle, they're all different. So you want to put in your calendar what is your billing cycle and when is your bill due. You want to make sure that you make that payment or you pay off your credit card around 5 days before the bill is actually due. That will impact your credit in a positive way.
So I was just looking up right now what the average credit card interest rate is, and it's
Yeah, what
saying
is that?
23.7%.
There you go.
So yeah, and I've seen, in fact, I mean, I have a credit card that I don't use that has a 32% interest rate,
Oh,
and hence I don't
and
use it.
it's so easy to get caught because you go to a clothing store,
Yep.
and when you hit the register, they always say, well, if you apply for a credit card, you could save 20% today. Yeah, but what do you get to see the fine print? No, you might not be. And then you get the credit card, yay, you got your 20%. But then you have a bill and you're like, and then your rate is 32%.
Yep.
That's not a that's an impulsive decision. It's not a good one, in my opinion.
Right. No, and
Yeah.
I think just sharing what's worked for us is going to be most important. That's where people can really start to gain insights.
Yes.
The next slide here is decoding the credit card offer. And so when you get a credit card offer, I mean, look at the fine print. Um, I will say that this wasn't a credit card offer, but this was a check that was mailed to me. All I needed to do was sign it, and I could go in and deposit it. And it was like a $10,000 check, if I remember correctly. And the interest rate, guess what the interest rate was?
40.
100%.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I took a snippet of that and I sent it to my friend because I was totally shocked. Um, and again, it was so easy. I just sign the back, take it in, deposit it. I've got the loan, so they're not looking at anything. I don't know how they got my name. I don't know if they did like a soft pull on my credit report. I have no idea. But it was so easy. And I'm like, there's a catch on this. I mean, and as I started reading through it, yeah, the interest rate ended up being, it was, I want to say it was like right at 100 or right near 100. It was massive interest rate. And just, in my opinion, a scam at that point. I mean, it's
Yeah, it is.
so massive. And so, but how many people would just sign that check and just take it in?
That
Uh,
is so scary, especially our elderly people.
you know, and the thing is that they really touted not the rate, but they touted the payment. And it was like a 10-year note or something like that. So the payment was pretty low, but it ended up being 100%. Um, so really look at the fine print. That's so important before you do anything. Look
Mm-hmm.
right. You want to look at the APR. Card A, 26.99%. Annual fee is 0, where card B has a lower APR, 17.99%. They're going to charge you $95 a year just for the right to have that card. And then grace periods, 21 days, 25-day grace period. Late fees are something that you also want to really take a look at. Because if you're late, I mean, it can really hit you pretty hard. And then rewards. Are there rewards? Is it cash back? Is it travel rewards? What is it? Um, on this, on this card, I mean, is card A the right card? Is card B the right card? Card B has you know, has a lower APR, but has a $95 fee every year. And so the late payment fee is, $6 cheaper per month. But card B has the 3% travel rewards. Card A has 1% cash back. So,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm going to ask you, which one's the right card, Claire?
With where I'm at in my life, I would take card B.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd take the 17.99. That would compound much slower on a monthly basis if I don't pay the full balance. I $95 if you break it down monthly, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
And the 3% travel reward is pretty good.
Yep. Yep. I like card A because I don't carry a balance, so therefore the APR is irrelevant to me. But if I do,
Ah,
then I want to get that paid off pretty quick. I don't like the annual fee. Um, but I'd rather have 1% cash back on all my purchases instead of 3% travel rewards. Because I don't right now, and right now in my life, I'm not traveling a ton. So, and the thing is that I think this shows it's a perfect situation where it's suitable to you and your lifestyle and your time right now.
Yeah.
It's a perfect example where, for you, you like card B. For me, I like card A. Um, and so, but, and I think for a newer person that has credit, card A might be a good thing.
Absolutely.
Uh, because again, it's 1% cash back. And, and like I've got the Costco card, and so, and I get, I don't even know, 1 to 5% cash back. And, I get that check every 3 months or whatever it is. And it's like, holy cow, that's pretty nice. So anyway, yeah, but it really goes down to suitability and what's going to be best for you coming up. So yeah.
Hmm.
So 6 ways to use your credit card wisely. Obviously, don't max out your credit card. Keep it to 30% or below. We talked about that in our last class.
Yep.
Pay more than the minimum monthly payment, as long as you can. Review your monthly statements and spending. That's key. Review those things. I will tell you that when I was newly married, um, I don't remember what company it was, but I was getting billed on my credit card, and I did carry a balance at the time on my credit card. So I wasn't paying attention to my credit card a great deal, except for what my minimum monthly payment was. But I was getting billed on my credit card, and it wasn't something massive. It was, I want to say it was like $20 or less. It might have been $20, $30 or less or something. It wasn't like $50 or $100 or something. But it was enough where my balance was going down every month from whatever my payment was, but I wasn't paying attention to my statement because I wasn't using it. So I'm just
Yeah.
like, whatever. So I just pay my minimum monthly payment. And what tipped me off was it was actually 18 months later. I'm like, why is my credit card not going down? It's like really not going down a great deal. And I then looked at it and I realized, oh crap, this place has been charging me for this service, whatever it was. And again, I don't remember what it was. Um, I immediately called, canceled the service and that. And of course, they weren't willing to refund any money back because it wasn't
Mhm.
my
Yeah.
deal. But I think, I say that because of today's world. I mean, how many of us have an Amazon, maybe 2 or 3 Amazon accounts that we don't realize that we're getting charged $15.99, or maybe 2 Netflix accounts or 2, whatever.
I
Where,
had Amazon Prime for a year and did not even know it.
yeah, I mean, it's, and that hits your account and you're just like, I was $15, whatever. But then also, I, $15, you're kind of like, I'll deal with it next month. I'll cancel that
Right.
next month. Next month comes, you don't cancel it because anyway. So
It's
review
so
your
true.
monthly statements and spending. It's important.
It
Uh,
is. And it only takes like maybe 10 minutes. Just take a look at it.
yeah, review it. Understand the interest rate, the terms, avoid cash advances if you can.
Yeah.
Again, it's a privilege to have a credit card. And so, how are you using your credit card? One would like to say you're using your credit card just for, little things that you need, maybe protections that you need or whatever. But the reality is let's talk about real life and real life challenges. Let's say that you're out of a job for a month or two. You may need to take some cash advantages to live.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, just try to avoid those. But we understand real life comes into play. And at that point, again, manage your statement, watch your statement, and then start paying, if your minimum monthly payment's $50 a month, try to pay $75 a month when you get back on your feet again, or $100 a month, if you can. I mean, to start socking away at that a little bit and then
Yeah.
protect credit card information. So, let's talk about the dangers of maxing out your credit card. Really why it's a bad idea and what you should do instead. What do you think?
My thoughts on that are that when you max out your credit card, your minimum payment, if that's the only thing you can do, is not enough to have your credit card balance keep going down. So you make a payment, it's not enough. So the next month, when your interest rates kick in, your balance is even higher. So you're just like taking 2 steps forwards, 3 steps back. That's what you're doing. You're going in the wrong direction.
It takes on average 23 to 24 years to pay off a credit card, paying the minimum monthly balance. So where you pay an extra $100 a month or $200 a month, whatever, you could pay it off in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So there are dangers, and again, your credit score is going to go down, which could affect. It could affect buying a house. It could affect renting a car. It could affect getting auto insurance. It could affect so many different things. And what should you do instead? If you need money, maybe borrow it from a friend if you need to, or have 2 credit cards or 3 credit cards. And then you spread it out. You max each one out at 30% of your high credit limit, and do that instead. So,
Yeah.
And on this slide, it really talks about credit card. Having a credit card is a privilege. I had a mentor of mine tell me that if you do not own a business, you should have 1 credit card. And I don't agree with that completely. But I do agree with his second statement, which is if you do not own a business, you should have 1 credit card, and you should keep the high credit limit at $5,000, period. Don't ever increase it above that. And his philosophy on that was that, that gives you enough to be able to take care of things that might come up. It gives you enough to be able to go on vacation and put your credit card, or pay for airline tickets on your credit card. Again, for some of the protections in that, pay for your hotel on your credit card, pay for your trip on your credit card. When you come back, though, you got the money in your account to physically write a check and pay that off, right? So
Yeah,
if you're
yeah.
putting it on your just to go on a trip, and so, but the water heater breaks, you don't have cash to be able to take care of it, you can put it on your credit card.
Yeah.
The car breaks, you need new tires, you can put it on your credit card if you have to. It's for those unforeseen things that come up that you're kind of like, okay, crap, how do I deal with this?
Yes.
Privilege. And so the second thing he said, if you are a business owner, then you should have a second credit card, which is the same thing, $5,000, but you just have a second credit card that maxes out at $5,000. So, and I would say I think that's good advice in some sense. For me, I had purchased an office a few years ago. I remodeled the office. And when I did so, I decided I'm running a ton of money through my bank account every month for draws and everything, and things I'm purchasing for the house and all of that. And it was a considerable amount of money every month. And so I decided, you know what? I ended up applying for American Express Platinum card, which was the maximum amount of cash back that I could get. And I used it for true cash back, and I put everything through that thing.
Yeah.
Did not have I had a unlimited spending limit. At least that's what they say. They do cap you, but they'll say it's unlimited. And so, and they need to learn your spending habits and things like that. I didn't have the card long enough to where they could learn all of that because, I'm not buying tons of houses or remodeling them and things like that. So, but it is a thing that, I did get some good I remember one month I got a check for $2,000. So,
Wow.
so just watch those things. And the other thing is that I was traveling a little bit more for business at that time. And so I was able to stay in the American Express Centurion rooms and things like that at the airports. Just, one of them that I was at, they were remodeling, so I couldn't get in. But anyway, it's a privilege, and it's something that's easy. I think it's something that's easy to manage, but also tough to manage.
Very much so, yes.
So, any thoughts? Anything else that you can shed with that?
That I can think of. It's a lot. It's a huge responsibility. Not as much responsibility as a puppy, but it's up there. I mean, you're entering the adult world and the responsibilities. So it's a lot.
It is. Credit can be used for good and it can be used for bad.
Yeah.
So, manage that credit. I counsel clients these days that you really want to have your credit cards paid off. The only debt that you should have that's acceptable debt would be home mortgage debt, which of course that's the business I'm in. But home mortgage debt and then really auto debt. And I had gone back and forth on auto debt throughout my career, but now autos are getting to be so expensive that most people need to get a loan to be able to buy an auto anymore.
Wow.
So it takes too long to try to save anymore to buy that auto. So, so most people are going to have an auto loan debt, so that becomes acceptable debt, even though it's a depreciating asset. So it's really not a great thing to put on credit.
That's good to know.
Pay cash, then do it. And then student loan debt. And so, but I really look at student loan debt nowadays as in, it probably should be something that you're going to be using that career for, and not guessing. And so, and there's a lot of people that don't need student loan debt. They don't need to go to college. They can, go to, I mean, I did a loan for a guy that went to helicopter school. And he did go to a school to get his flight time and everything else, but he became a helicopter pilot. And of course you've got, you want to be an airline pilot, the same thing. You could go to flight school in that, and you can bypass college. And you could also be a tradesperson. So you don't necessarily have to have a college debt.
That's cool.
But if it is college, if you are going to college in that, then really use that to the best of your ability. So, and maybe not just trying to figure everything out. I don't know, just my thoughts. So, any last words, Claire?
Yeah, take the quiz, scan the QR code and make it a competition between you and your spouse and maybe the kids.
Yeah. So do the quiz. It's first home IQ quiz, and this is just really just a fiscal literacy quiz. It's fun. Well, at least I think it's fun, but
It is.
it's fun. It's kind of good to see where you score. It brings up some insights and some thoughts that maybe you might not have had before. And then it's also a great opportunity to be able to share it with your family. You might share it with your friends as well. You can send them the QR code as well. But then also, take these classes that we've been doing and share them with your family and your friends as well. So, sounds good?
Yes, time well spent.
Time well spent. So thank you so much, Claire, for the time. It's been
Thank
fun.
you for having me.
And until next time when we're talking about managing your debt.
Yes, sounds good. That's going to be a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.